Sherry, I hate healthy cooking. It is so boring. It's so not enjoyable. I have heard that more often than I want to think about. And if that is you, we're going to fix that today. Welcome, I'm Sheri Traxler with Vireo Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat, Move, and Enjoy Life, God's Way. We're talking about the eating part of that today. One of the barriers to eating healthy is simply not enjoying cooking. Now, I will say that my coach was quite surprised whenever he and I had a conversation once about my cooking, and I was saying, well, you know, there are just days that I really don't feel like it. He was like, I just always pictured you being in the kitchen enjoying all this creativity and stuff. And I'm like, well, there are days that I do that, and other days I enjoy the result of healthy cooking, and so I go ahead and do just some simple stuff. And that's one of the keys, is knowing yourself. In last week's video, we talked about Socrates' quote, know thyself, but more specifically, the full quote is know thyself, because when you know yourself, you learn how to take care of yourself. And just like the personality questions that I ask you for your fitness, we're going to ask those same, and I'm going to give you some examples of how this looks when it comes to healthy cooking. This is one of the principles that I teach you and work through with you in the intensive Unlock Your Hidden Health Potential. If you've not already signed up for that, message me and I will get you the info on it. Enjoying your cooking, knowing your personality. Let me give you a simple example for myself. For me, I am someone who loves order and I love things to be methodical. But then other times I love spontaneity and creativity. How does that work together? Well, it means, number one, I do not like cooking in a messy kitchen. So when the kitchen is messy, I'm like, no, sorry, we're having canned soup and boxed salad tonight because we are not creating something in this chaos. If Doug wants really nice meals, he knows he's got to chip in. Actually, he does most of the kitchen cleaning, so thumbs up to him for that. When I am in a creative mood, then I like to have different ingredients that I can pull from and use the creativity. If I am not in a creative mood, if I'm tired, then I like to have something simple that I can just pull together. Some baked potatoes that are already in the fridge just to reheat, some frozen veggies in a bag that I put in some boiling water, and open up a can of chicken and put some kind of spice in it. Sometimes it is literally that simple, but I enjoy it because it matches my energy level, it matches my personality for that day. Other times I enjoy this whole experience, and it takes me back to when I was in college and we would have theme nights. Some of us would get together and cook and have, okay, we're going to do Mexican tonight. So we'd turn on Mexican music and we would have Mexican games, and we would have Mexican food, or we would have something from somewhere in Asia, or we would have beach. You know, we would put on some beach music and have some beach type food. You get the idea that sometimes it's you want to be taken somewhere with the food experience, and that includes the cooking, the music, all of that. Sometimes healthy cooking gets fun because you get transported to another culture. You know, like I talked about in college days. The other day, Doug and I were watching a TV show, a cooking show, on this Jamie, I can't remember his last name, chef, and he was in the Greek islands, out on a boat. They were fishing, and he was cooking a fish stew on the boat itself. And I said, okay, Doug, we are having fish stew this week. It was completely inspirational to watch that and get that sense as we're cooking it and eating it, as though we're in the Greek islands somewhere. Really close to home for me, though, is a friend of mine from the Philippines. She was visiting one day, and she saw this lemongrass plant, and she said, oh, that reminds me of when I was growing up, and we had lemongrass plants in growing around the house because there it was warm enough they could have it in ground versus in a pot. And she said, Mom would have me go out and harvest some for a meal. I said, I've never learned how to harvest these. Teach me how to harvest it. So she got a dandelion digger and dug down in here and pulled it up by the root and then showed me how to wrap it around. And she had me do a couple so I could learn how to do it. So now for me, anytime that I cook with lemongrass, it's a double bonus. I get to think about and feel as though I am wherever I'm cooking somewhere in the world. But two, it reminds me of her and her teaching me how to do that. So anytime you can learn something from another culture at a farmer's market, at an international market, it's going to add that much more to your cooking later on and make it more enjoyable. If you are someone who really likes to learn, you've got a couple of options. You can either learn about cooking, learn about the culture of the food that you are cooking, or you can do something like, all right, I'm chopping up my onions and celery or whatever for the week, doing some food prep, and you put in a podcast and you learn while you're doing that. What about the people part of your personality? I've got one client who his food prep time on Sunday afternoon, that is his time to connect with a teenage daughter. And you know how it is when you are facing forward doing something side by side, you tend to open up more. So a little side benefit is things that she might not share otherwise, she's willing to share when they are chopping side by side. Another client, a single woman who she really feels sad whenever she's cooking just for one. So a solution for her has been, let's get a couple of friends together, cook up some casseroles to put in the freezer, and then she's got ready-made meals to reheat during the weeks, and she got to cook it with friends. It's about finding what makes the experience enjoyable for you. Thanks for joining me for this. It is so much fun to discover what helps you enjoy a healthy lifestyle. And put in the comments below what resonated with you, what you are going to use from this to help you enjoy cooking and food prep so that you can eat healthy, because it's got to be convenient and it's got to be enjoyable. Thanks so much for being here. Remember to subscribe so that you can be the first to receive these videos. And until next time, find your path and fulfill your potential.